My life changed drastically after my husband left me. At first, I saw it as a real tragedy. Of course I did. We had been married for 40 years. I got married at 20 and never thought it was too early. I was always focused on family, that's how I was raised. In our family, everyone married young, so I could even say I was a bit late to it. I can't say my parents' marriage was perfect. They had their ups and downs, but my mother always told me that a family must be built every day. You have to overcome difficulties and try to preserve the relationship no matter what. And it was the woman's job to do all the overcoming and preserving. She was the one who had to adjust, endure, and stay silent. That was a woman's fate. I was raised with this belief. My whole life, I worked to maintain my family, forgave my husband's behavior, and adjusted to him even when it was suffocating. Because divorce was a disgrace, that's what I had been told my entire life, so I tried my best to keep my marriage together. I had 2 children, raised them, served my husband, and at times, simply tolerated him. You married him, so now you have to endure it to the end. No one forced you to marry him. My mother would scold me whenever I tried to complain. To be honest, our marriage wasn't all bad. We had good times too. We went on vacations, raised wonderful children, and built a life together. For years, I feared my husband might leave. By the time I turned 40, I thought I was safe. That kind of thing happened to young men, driven by hormones. But I forgot about the demon in a man's midlife crisis. My husband left after 40 years of marriage. It was a shock. At first, I couldn't even believe it. I thought he was just making a scene, that he'd get over it. But he was packing his things for real. He was tired of me and leaving for another woman. And not even some young girl, which would have at least been somewhat understandable, but for his old-school sweetheart, the one he had a fling with back in high school. I cried so much when I realized it was truly happening to me, no less. My whole world crumbled before my eyes. Everything I had spent years building and protecting was now in ruins. We had a shared apartment, and my husband insisted on selling it. I didn't have the money to buy out his share, but my children stepped in. They found the money, gave it to their father, and the apartment became mine. I only realized what they had done later. At that time, I was barely functioning. Without my children, who knows how it would have ended? But you can't cry forever. After the pain, there was emptiness, and that emptiness allowed me to take care of simple daily tasks, and those tasks showed me that life wasn't so bad after all. There was much less cleaning to do. I didn't have to cook every day anymore. I could listen to music and watch what I want, not what my husband liked. And I could read in bed at night without anyone complaining about the light. I suddenly had so much free time that had been swallowed by household chores. It didn't happen overnight, but I slowly started doing things I had once been interested in. After work, I didn't have to rush home to cook dinner. I could take a walk, go to the theater, or just meet a friend at a cafe. My children helped a lot, too. They visited me often, never left me alone. They helped me renovate the apartment, rearrange things. The house became cozier because now it was arranged exactly how I wanted. I even got a cat. We never had a cat because my husband claimed he was allergic. I never checked if that was true, but he never let me get one, and I didn't want a dog. I barely had time for anything as it was. A year after the divorce, I realized I was happy. My mother would have disapproved. I failed to preserve the family, and that was unacceptable in her eyes. But my mother is no longer here, and no one else seems to judge me. The most important thing is that I don't blame myself. My children don't blame me either. Sure, sometimes I miss my ex-husband, but it's just a phantom pain. It passes quickly. But oh, how amazing it is to live without constantly adjusting to someone else. I never knew life could be like this. First, I lived under my father's rules. Then, I had to conform to my husband. And now, I am my own master. It may be late, but I've finally started living a full life, and better late than never. In fact, I'm even grateful to my ex-husband for making that drastic decision because I never could have done it myself.